Hello.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. Hi, we're Group 2.
I'm Melissa Carrion.
I'm Michelle Dennis.
I'm Anna Hartwell.
And I'm Max Mendez.
We started off with a goal for this project and finding a practical approach to group communication. We already had the advantage to being in a class that was instructing us on how to approach a project such as this one with a system.
Our first communication was by email, but once we made an initial introductions, we started texting like crazy. We set up a time and a place on campus to meet face-to-face, to take a few minutes to get to better acquainted with our group members before focusing on the task at hand.
In forming this secondary group model, we had been brought together to achieve a goal and to solve a problem. We began by committing to operate in a climate of support rather than defensiveness, as we learned from the text.
Our plan of action was off to a start. We knew we had to facilitate an effective team by having clear, elevating goals and a results-driven structure in order to have an efficient, organized, and structured method of achieving team goals within the time frame that we needed to work in. For example, setting a timeline since we knew we had a very quick deadline, and also planning ahead.
We started out by researching online and by exploring the campus options with the student union and the communications department. We were offered volunteer opportunities in the communications lab and also with the team for enrollment day, but these were not really fitting our time needs well.
At first, we were trying to find a way to work in our lunch breaks on Tuesdays and Thursdays when we were all on campus, but that was problematic as we had very little common time available between classes. We were able to find a little time that worked where I was able to slip out of a class and meet with the other group members to have introductions and finalize our group activity.
All of our group's frustrations really came from not having easy schedules to work with. It was very difficult for us to make time to meet up and discuss plans with all of our class and work schedules clashing. On top of that, we needed to make the time to volunteer. So we really had to work together to create a supportive climate and consider everyone's schedule when we were going through it and making plans.
I'll take this one. We found some other options that could have worked, but we kept looking. We communicated with email and lots of texting. Actually, tons of texting. And I found, actually Anna found out about the Relay for Life after reaching out to a few event coordinators on campus. They gave her the information for the American Cancer Society because our campus was hosting a fundraiser for them. She reached out and was directed to Brittany Yetter, the Relay for Life coordinator on campus.
The problem we helped solve was supporting the Relay for Life American Cancer Society. What the Relay for Life is an overnight fundraiser held by the American Cancer Society in more than 20 countries. Teams sign up to fundraise money and participate in the walkathon to raise money for cancer research and patient recovery centers. We reached an immediate consensus. If we can get into the Relay for Life event, we would definitely do that. So we were able to start finessing our goals. The date was quickly approaching, which was May 7th. We wrote our proposal and then it was accepted by the professor.
Michelle, was voted leader. And I strove to be a democratic leader, but sometimes I kind of moved into more of an authoritarian role if things were slowing down much. We stayed with a less formal structure for the whole project. As Keaton and Beck stated in their paper, Team Attributes in 2008, formal structure is emergent and dependent upon group member communication. Group interactions create group norms, the unwritten rule for social behavior, which influence the way group members interact. We all found our natural place on the team.
I took on the role as information giver by providing the group with upcoming information on the event and serving as the point person for the coordinators over at the American Cancer Society.
I became the group energizer. With this role, I was able to keep the group upbeat and spur them into action. I tended to motivate and stimulate everyone to keep helping and doing what they could during the event, as described by Richard Jones in his 2016 article titled Communications in the Real World. And at times during the early hours, morale would be low and I would need to keep and try and make sure everybody was up to the task of helping whatever they could.
And you were awesome.
And I, Alyssa, was the group harmonizer. Although conflict is sometimes good for groups, my group didn't actually have many disagreements. However, I was always there to make sure we kept that at a minimum.
We had a mandatory meeting to attend at the campus for the ACS team to get briefed on our roles at the event.
Alyssa and I weren't able to attend that because of our work schedules, but Max and Michelle went and reported back to us. Our group has consistently excelled at open communication and staying connected. In 2015, author Banwell wrote an article titled The Impact of Group Cohesiveness, and in it he stated that a group with open communication networks helped to increase teams' productivity as members have access to all of the necessary resources needed to succeed.
Here, Michelle and I saw great real group communication in action at this meeting. It was obvious that Michelle and I and that the group of 20 people and a combination of the ACS people and students from the campus life leaders had complete mutuality of concern and cohesiveness. They had extended that feeling to us, which was very welcoming and helpful for our group in itself. From there, we were given the diagrams, so we knew exactly where we'd have to be when we got to the event on the soccer field at the school.
It was super helpful.
So our shift at the event was from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Obviously, because of the very early hours, we were definitely tired, but the people who were running the event were even more tired. They had been there pretty much all night since the event started at 10 a.m. the previous day, and they were walking for a time period of 24 hours.
I think we ended up actually infusing them with energy.
At the event, we supported the event staff by keeping debris off the track and as well reporting any unsafe behavior that we saw to the security team that was present, as well as directing different people to different information booths that were set up throughout the track, taking down signs and trash all over campus, and clearing up and taking down any tents and tables after the closing ceremonies had commenced.
In the beginning of this group process, we were all a bit frustrated and anxious regarding the extent of our time constraints. We didn't think it would be possible to execute the project so efficiently, but we were able to come together and use the skills this class has provided us with to be successful.
Not only were we able to complete a project together, but we were also able to support our community and learn communication dynamics simultaneously. In their article, Mediating Roles of Supervisory Communication Practices on Relations Between Leader, Bakar et al. In 2008 said, effective commitment is the extent to which people experience a sense of identification and involvement with an organization. So we definitely pulled it off.
We measured our success with the event by the great response we got from the ACS team and with the initiative we took while volunteering. We found ourselves taking on additional tasks that needed to be carried out without anyone really asking us to do so, because we felt responsible for the success of the relay.
Yay! All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.